Today's video will be on application of equations. So your learning goal for today is that you'll be able to create algebraic equations and use these to solve real life problems. Okay, so there are a number of steps that you follow to actually create an equation and then use it to solve a problem. So there are 4 steps are. The first is you define a pronumeral to stand for the unknown numbers. The second is you write an equation to describe the problem, and the third is you solve the equation, and the last step, which is really important as well, is you answer the original question and make sure you include correct units when you're doing so. So if we work through an example, it'll probably become a bit more clear. So here's an example. So John and his elder sister are 4 years apart in age. The sum of their ages is 26. So the first thing we need to do is let the pronumeral stand for something in our equation. So what are we trying to figure out? Our question asks us to figure out how old is John and how old is his sister. There should be a question mark there. So we want to find out how old is John. So John and his elder sister are 4 years apart in their age. So let's let x equal John's age. So the next thing we have to do is write an equation. So John and his elder sister are 4 years apart in their ages. So that means John is x and his sister would be x plus 4 because we know she's older, so we're adding years on and it says 4 years apart. And the sum of their ages is 26. So sum means addition. So John's age plus his sister's age, which is John's age plus 4 more years, equals 26. So now we've got a pronumeral and we've defined it. So x is John's age. We've written an equation. So x plus 4. So John plus his sister's age equals 26. And from there we can solve it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to simplify the left-hand side of that equation by looking for like terms and adding them together. So x and x are like terms, so we can add them. So x plus x is 2x. So 2x plus 4 equals 26. And from there we can just work backwards and solve for x. So first we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So 2x equals 26. And then we're going to divide both sides by 2. Oh, I didn't subtract. Sorry, that's a mistake there. That should not be 26 because 26 take 4 equals 22. Sorry. So 22. So then we're going to divide both sides by 2. So x equals 22 divided by 2 is 11. So we've followed 3 steps, and the last step, remember, was to answer the original question, including correct units. So how old is John? Therefore, John is 11. Remember to use units, years old. And our second one, how old is sister? Is his sister, sorry. So his older sister is 4 years older than him. So therefore, John's sister is 11 plus 4 is 15. So he's 15 years old. So there we go. We've created an equation that solves this problem. We've solved it and we've written an answer from it. Wow, getting tongue-tied big time. Okay. So now we've got a second one here. So purchasing 5 apples. Let's try apples, I think that's supposed to be. Lots of mistakes in this one. Try proofreading. Okay, so purchasing 5 apples and a $2.40 mango costs the same as purchasing 7 apples and a mandarin that costs 60 cents. Okay, so what is the cost of an apple? So we want to find out what the cost of the apple is. So we'll let the apple be our unknown. So let's go A for apple. A equal cost of an apple. Okay, so it's kind of $8 actually. So now we're going to have to write our equation. So 5 apples, so that means 5 times $8 plus the cost of that mango plus $2.40 costs the same as purchasing 7 apples, so 7 times A plus the cost of a mandarin, which is 60 cents. Okay, so you can see there I've converted the cost of the mandarin into dollars, and the reason I've done that is the cost of the mango is in dollars as well. So I could have converted the mango into cents if I wanted and done it all in cents, or as I've done, I converted the cost of the mandarin into dollars. So it's up to you as long as the units are the same, because if they're not the same, you're working with different units, so you can't actually solve the equation. So I'm just going to rewrite this without the dollar signs just so it's a bit clearer for me. Okay, so from there we are going to solve our equation. So we've got variables on both sides of the equation in this circumstance, and as you know, I prefer to get rid of the smaller amount of variables. It's perfectly correct if you want to get rid of the larger number, but I think it's easier to take 5a from both sides. So now I've got 2.4 equals 7a, take 5a is 2a plus 0.6. Okay, so I'm starting to see, I probably should have converted to cents to make this a little bit easier for my brain to work out, but this is fine as well. Okay, so $2. So now I'm going to try and solve my equation, and I want to find out the value of a. So I'm going to try and solve for a. So the first thing I have to do is take that 60 cents off both sides. So $2.40, take 60 cents is going to leave me with that, what's that, $1.80, I hope. So $1.80 equals 2 apples, and then I have to divide by 2 to find out the price of 1 apple. So divide that in half is 90. So there we go. 1 apple costs 90 cents. Therefore, 1 apple costs 90 cents. So I've answered the original question using the units. And if you are unsure, remember, substitute it back into that original equation. Make sure both sides of your equation are equal and you know you've got the right answer. So if you want to check my working, you can substitute an apple costing 90 cents back into the original equation and let me know if I'm right. Okay, our last example. So an unknown vampire book and an unknown wizard book have a combined price of $60. So given the wizard book costs twice as much as the vampire book, find the cost of each. So obviously we all know wizards are better than vampires, so that's probably why it costs twice as much. So first thing we have to do is we have to define our variables. So we know that the wizard book costs twice as much as the vampire book. So the vampire book is the lesser value. So we'll say vampire book, let's say V. So V equals vampire book. Okay. So I should write let V equal the vampire book. So now we have to write our equation. So the total cost is $60. So $60 equals the price of the vampire book plus the price of the wizard book. And the wizard book costs twice as much as the vampire book. So it's 2 times the vampire book. So if you look on our right hand side, you can see we've got like terms. So V plus 2V are like terms. So they both have the same variable to the same power. So we can actually add those together. So $60 equals V plus 2V is 3V. So from there, we can solve our equation to work out the value of V. So to get rid of the 3, we have to divide both sides by 3. So 60 divided by 3 is 20, and 3V divided by 3 is just 1V. So 20 equals V. So therefore, the vampire book costs $20. And in our original question, we know that the wizard book costs twice as much, so it'll be twice as much. So, and the wizard book costs, well, 20 times 2 is $40. And that would be our answer there. Again, you can substitute that back in and check you're correct. 40 plus 20 equals 6. Yes, correct. Good. We know we've done the right thing there. So that's how you can actually create algebraic expressions, solve them, and use them in kind of like a real life context. Any questions at all? Make sure you come and see me in class.